The big March update is out now in Valhalla. It comes in at around the 10 gigs on PlayStation 5, but it's a bit more on other platforms. And we still have to wait a bit for the new festival, which launches on March 18th. But we already have Transmog, 3 new skills, we can use the Vinland armor in England, and way more. I will tell you everything you need to know in this video, showcase everything in action. If you like that, then a like on the video would of course really help me out. And let's go. As always, a quick reminder of my Helix credit pack giveaway for 2,300 credits. Just a way for me to give you something so you don't have to pay for it yourself. And you can enter via the link in the pinned comment. And be sure you are a subscriber of the channel before you enter. I'll reach out to the winner via the email. Good luck. Okay, let's immediately check on Gunner because he now has 2 new features. So one is called Downgrade Gear, where you can decrease the value of a gear item from the current rank to the lowest possible status. So for example, the double-hander sword here that you can of course buy at a merchant was gray when you bought it. So when decreasing the value, you will make it gray again, giving you all the inventory upgrades back as well. Like here I upgrade my dev speaker for science, and then when I decrease the value, I get all the resources back that I also used on those upgrades. But using this feature still cost me 400 silver per item, which is of course quite a lot. But if I, for example, want to decrease the value of a vein item piece, then I can only go back to silver because that is the quality that I got when I picked the item up. And then the upgrades made will also remain the same as long as they're not above the amount that is possible for the quality. So I guess this is nice if you need some tungsten or nickel for another piece of gear and don't want to farm them. So you just decrease the value of another item that you don't really use and use those resources on another piece of equipment. Ubisoft also notes that the runes on these items will be returned to your inventory. So it's just a nice feature for if you weren't happy with some of your upgrades. Although it's still not really something you want to do often because of the 400 silver price tag. And then the third tab in the blacksmith menu is a change appearance. So Transmog, where you can see your currently equipped gear like on top. So what I did is I equipped my Brigandine armor set, still one of my favorite armor sets in terms of stats. And then chose the look of the items that I wanted. And what is really cool is that you can also select the quality of lower rarity items. So for example, go back to the white version of the St. George's set that I prefer over the vinyl upgrade. I really love how my Eivor looks right now, and yes, I'm rocking 2 Gungnir as well, and I never really thought of this, but because of the dual wielding system, you can select 2 of the same weapons for the very first time. So if you select the Gungnir look for another spear and then equip it with the real Gungnir, then you have both of them in your hands. Maybe Gungnir is not the most ideal, because only one of the spears will of course have the extra reach effect, so it kinda looks weird when you use them. So it's maybe smarter to use 2 of the same weapons that don't have a strange effect. But yeah, this completely changed the way that we can customize our character. I really dig it. And we can now also access looks of gear that we could not select before, like the fine and superior look of the vein armor can now be selected in the menu. While the item, again when we picked it up, was silver. And yes, the Vinland armor can now be selected too when changing one of the different armor pieces, so that we can finally rock this armor in Norway and England. Although still not with the stats though, which is kind of a shame because the armor has a unique perk like health regen below the 50% health, which would be fun to use in England too, so hopefully we get that one day, but this is progress, right? And in short, if you don't have these items yet, you can of course get them in Finland, and this story arc opens up after the London one. And in Finland, you need to find resources in chests like ore and leather, which you can then use to buy the armor at the different merchants. But yeah, Bike's outfit is nowhere to be found. You can change the look from Bike's outfit to another chest piece, but when selecting any other chest piece, you cannot select Bike's look. So legacy outfits are still not really fixed, and the same is by the way the case with the new Alter Ear outfit that is out right now. I made a big video on it. You can watch it by clicking on the screen if it's already up on the channel. Also good to note is that if you want to return the item back to its like regular form, you just have to hit reset at the blacksmith and you can get that look again. It's still not really convenient though. I like the system from Odyssey way more, and the same system is by the way in the new game from that same team, Immortals, where you can also just change the look on the fly and for free. The beggar money farm still works luckily though, so money is not really a problem. But still, I hope that they decrease the price in the future. Let's continue to the new skills that are also part of the update. You will immediately see them when you go to the skill tab after installing the update. And I've been pretty stupid, like buying a scroll of knowledge to get 1 skill point, something you can of course do if you have a settlement on level 6. But even smarter is to just reset some skills in your skill menu that don't have an extra connection. Like just some bonuses that you don't really need. So I now reset 2 skills, then I got the skill point back, which I can then immediately use to unlock the new skills that were just added. And we got a nice new passive skill called Loot Food, giving you a higher chance of looting food from dead bodies. So sometimes you will then automatically fill your health after killing an enemy, or the circle indicating your food will fill again, and you will also hear the food sounds more often now after killing an enemy. So food is basically easier to come by if you just keep killing enemies. I like how aggressive play is rewarded, but the game was already really easy, even on very hard. So I really hope we see like a nightmare difficulty or something in the future. Raven's loot is awesome because if you kill enemies from a long enough distance, you will see Sunin go to that enemy and loot the target, and sometimes give you arrows back if that enemy drops arrows, as we see in the video. But if you have the arrow reinforcement skill, they can only pick up those arrows by really going to the target, so that hasn't changed. But it's still a nice skill to use, and it involves your Raven more, where first, without this skill, you would only really see Sunin with that Raven's distraction ability. So kinda nice to see the Raven be more used in combat. And then last but not least is Fearless Leaper, which as I predicted has to do with the attack you can do when you fall down, but it doesn't work from any high as noted in the skill notes. Or actually you can still do this trick by mashing the light or heavy attack button right before you hit the ground, but the glow from this new skill will only appear around your weapon if you jump from really high. And that also seems to extend the range of this skill. So I will try it more and report back, but so far that seems to be the way it works, at least for me. What always works is the new camera option that I really like a lot. This is the regular mode, and then if you go to settings, to gameplay, you can toggle this on. Then I just feel way more immersed with the camera like this. Especially when going to more urban environments, like London for example, it looks really nice. And also mounts seem way bigger with the camera closer to Eivor. And the camera will, by the way, zoom out when in combat, so you have a better overview of the area. And then return back to the close shot after killing all enemies. It's a great new feature. Just like more cats in the game. In Northwick, for example, you will now see a ton of them, so you can pick them up and pet them. Or in Jorvik. And throughout the rest of England, you will now see way more cats. Although less foxes, because they will not spawn in London anymore. Right under that, in the patch notes, we see that they address an issue that downgraded Ubisoft Connect rewards, like the Spartan Bow and the Moonlight Axe. And yes, we can confirm that the tactic I showed you in a previous video doesn't work anymore. So they did fix it, but you still need to upgrade these Ubisoft Connect items back to the mythical status after the update. The only difference is that they won't return to a lower quality anymore. The patch also talks about small boats now catching fire when throwing torches at them, but this already worked for us before the update, as you can see. So maybe it did not work in all instances. They addressed an issue that caused the Boar Master's melee attack, so for one of the enemies to not build up fire damage on the player. I encountered one during my weekly reset stream, and yes, more attacks seem to now give the fire debuff, but still not all his attacks give me the fire debuff, so it was slightly fixed. The cloak did get a great fix though on the stairs. So before the update it looked like this, with kind of the stutters. But now after the update, when going up a stairs with a cloak on, you see this really smooth animation. It's kinda as you expect. So looks really good. Another thing they fixed is regarding the Yams Viking hull. So first, even on upgrade level 3, you would sometimes see rank 1 Yams Vikings, which I don't think is intended. So now after the update, you might still only see rank 1 Yams Vikings, but just ring the bell outside of the building and then the new Yams Vikings that will appear should all be rank 3. At least that was the case for us. So keep that in mind, and then this feature now works accordingly. And there are way more super specific fixes in this update. For example, where players would be able to chain hidden blade attacks several times. This was not intended. Or some people were able to have multiple settlement cosmetics on one slot. We also got fixes for many missions, including 3 for the absence of an Elderman. You see the fixes right here, and I will leave a link to the patch notes in the video description. So if you have like very small specific issues, they can look for them and see if they should be fixed. And totally let me know in the comments or via the input@joraptor.com email address if you found any secret changes that I did not talk about in this video or that weren't in the patch notes, but that still happened after the update. I will then shout you out, of course, and highlight these secret changes in a future video. Subscribe for way more Valhalla content if you haven't already. A like on the video would, of course, really help me out. And totally check out that video on Alter Ear's outfit and the weekly reset with a daily item that you want to get before it's gone. You can watch that video by clicking on the screen if it's already up. And that video will also have the photo mode showcase that we, of course, normally do at the end of videos. For now, I will speak to you next time, and goodbye.